The Sun Belt Championship game is here. Hello, everyone. Welcome to SlasherU. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck, and we're going to break down the Sun Belt Championship. We got Coastal Carolina taking on Troy. And before we get started, Steve, I know you got a rant. Let it out. Let it out of the air now. Go ahead.
Okay, I just have to say and reinforce how dumb with a capital D it is to punish a team that's moving up in the ranks and not allow them to win or play for a conference championship. James Madison earned that right. Not saying that if they were in the championship game that they would have won it, though I think they would have. I don't understand why you have to punish if you're dropping down in classification, like with the men's Hartford basketball program, they're going from Division 1 to Division 3. They shouldn't be allowed to play in a conference tournament. I get that, but when you're actually making the investment that you need to make to have your team move up, in the I don't want to say the standings, but in reputation, you get playing in a tougher classification. You shouldn't make them have to wait a year or two. Same thing with St. Thomas University in the FCS. They got, they're getting screwed. They got kicked. They were so good at Division 3, they got kicked out of their conference. They got voted out except for their closest rival. They voted them out saying, "We're tired of losing to you year after year after year after year after year." So they kicked him out. So what else were they going to do? Nobody else would take him in. So they said, you know what? We're going to spend the money. We're going to do the upgrades on the facilities, and we're going to go to Division 1. But still they can't play for in the playoff bracket. That's just a shame. So I just have to get that off my chest right off the bat. It's not that Coastal Carolina isn't a deserving team. It's not that Troy, they were in a different division. It's not a worthy team. But basically, James Madison should have been allowed to play in this game.
Well,
especially, I'm sorry.
I'll just say this before we end it off. James Madison last week beat Coastal Carolina 47-7. So Just put that one in your pipe, smoke it real quick, and then let's get on with this preview, because this is a game we got. We got Coastal Carolina versus Troy. When we really got to talk about this, though, the Sun Belt has been an amazing conference season. With the new teams coming in, with what we got, we had the Sun Belt turning into the Stun Belt, then the Fun Belt. We can't forget how fun this conference has been. You can make the argument, and I think you'd have a very good one, that this is the best group of 5 conference this year. I know the American usually tends to take that, but I think the Sun Belt might have a very good argument. I think it's still between the American and the Sun Belt. I don't think any other of the conferences are even close in the group of 5 with the competition from top to bottom. But you could make that argument about the Sun Belt, Steve. What do you think?
Well, I think it's fair to say that on any given Saturday within the Sun Belt, you would expect some kind of an upset. I think every week you kind of went in and looked at games and saying, okay, who can we pick and talk about being an upset special, whatever. That's very, very true. I certainly think the Sun Belt is better than the American. Maybe I've just watched too much Conference USA football that I think maybe, though that's a much more top-heavy conference, I would say. But you saw some of the lower ranking teams in that conference still try to play to be bowl eligible in Conference USA. But that's not to take away from the Sun Belt. The Sun Belt got a college game day early in the year. Did they?
Sure.
Right?
They sure did. Appalachian State. Yes, they did. We do have a potential quarterback battle on our hands. It all depends on what happens with Grayson McCall. Steve, you just found some great news that just came out just recently. Let us know what that's about.
Last week, they were saying he was going to be out until their bowl game. But as of an hour ago, as we're recording this, there is still hope that he has made enough progress that he can maybe gut it out and play this game. He certainly wants to. I think the coaching staff is going to have to make a decision. Do we play with this kid's future or not? So there is still a chance that McCall is going to play. It's a slim chance. Right when he first got hurt, they were saying he was out at least 4 weeks, which would have put him even in jeopardy, for a bowl game. But as of an hour ago, as we record this, there's an outside chance that McCall might get to play in this game.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can go. I think if we have Grayson McCall in this one, then it's a completely different ball game. Now, obviously, we didn't see him in the game against James Madison last week. We just talked about what happened in that one. Wonder if, the score changes. It probably changes for the better. I don't know if it's enough for a win, but with Grayson McCall under center, they only lost one game this year. It was to Old Dominion. Yes, I did have to get that into this preview.
I was waiting.
Had to get it in the preview at least once. But when you look at this offense is actually really fun to watch on Coastal Carolina. Sam Pickney is a very fun receiver to watch. If you haven't seen Coastal play this year, I recommend you do and pay attention to McCall or whoever's under center. And Sam Pickney is one of those guys you want to pay attention to as well. I mean, the senior out of Greenwood, South Carolina, he's almost got 1,000 yards on the year on only 56 receptions. He just plays good football. He is a good route runner. He's just a fun guy to watch on the screen. So if you are one of those people who like to pay attention to the offensive lineman or the wide receiver running the routes, maybe not always the ball sometimes, because sometimes I do that with football. I'm sure other people do that as well. Sam Pickney's a guy you're going to want to spot out. Now, on the Troy side, Steve, I feel like Troy has been very underrated this year. I feel like there has been a lot of people who have slept on Troy all year. This is a team that lost to Appalachian State on a Hail Mary on College Game Day. We just mentioned, right? That was one of their losses, and their only other loss was to Ole Miss. Other than that, they have played, I would say, almost flawless, if you will. They have played very good football all season long. They played against South Alabama, one of the other top teams in the Sun Belt. It was a battle, won 10-6 in that one. They had a battle against Army, 10-9 in that one. And then you've seen them play good football like against Arkansas State, winning 48-19. They can play all types of football. They can grind out. They can score big. I think going into this game against Coastal Carolina, when you don't know the update or the status of their starting quarterback, you got to think that they're the favorites. Vegas also agrees. They have them as an 8.5-point favorite. What's your thoughts on Troy?
Well, they have the best record in the conference. I mean, basically, and they have not lost since that Hail Mary loss. Mm-hmm. All of their losses were prior to that game day, miracle at game day, for Appalachian State there. I'm going with Troy with this one. And it's hard because I really like Coastal Carolina. I do like them in its entirety. But when you take out a key piece like McCall and not knowing, even if he does play, I don't know how effective he can be. I'm sure his mobility is going to be limited. So getting himself out of trouble, which he's very good at, rolling out, getting himself out of trouble, making the pass. I think for the Chanticleers, I mean, it's an unfortunate timing in this. But if you asked them at the beginning of the year, hey, you're going to be playing in the conference championship, I guarantee you the Coastal Carolina side would have been beside themselves. And really, for the first, I mean, they started 6-0 on the year. They earned their ranking when they were ranked. And another thing that I think hurt them is when they lost that game due to the UVA tragedy. I think they just fell out of sync a little bit, and they're still now trying to get the rhythm, and now they're without their starting quarterback, their starting quarterback, not just their starting quarterback.
Right.
So I just think that that the fates are against Coastal Carolina in this one. Even if McCall does come back, I think I got to go with Troy.
All right, so both of us are taking Troy. What do you think? Let us know in the comment description below. Who do you think will win the Sun Belt Championship? And where do you like both these teams when it comes to bowl projections? Let us know in the comments below. Hit like and subscribe while you're there. And thank you for watching SlasherU.